Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name, Lisa Elvin Stoltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last several years, I've been focusing my attention on les filles du roi, or the king's daughters. This past January, I decided I wanted to do a parallel series called Les filles mariées, the marriageable girls who came before. And it's been a fascinating journey. Today's episode actually links back to an episode from my other series, and I kind of made sure they were together. So the episode 231 began the story of this particular family and now continues into this Fille Mariée episode 46. So they crossed over. So that was kind of interesting to explore. So we'll get to that in a minute. But here are ways that you can help support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. The subscribe, like, and notify. All that helps, all that logarithm stuff. The other ways are ways to help the channel grow. Coffee standalone platforms where you can contribute on a monthly or on a one-time basis. And we also have the PayPal button on my Have Roots Will Travel website. So check that out as well. Thank you to all of you who have contributed thus far, and all of my subscribers, whether you're a member or anything like that. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. So let's get started on finding out les filles mariées of this episode. So les filles mariées, as you can see from the dates, was a group of women who came to New France between 1634 and 1662, roughly approximately 28 years. We have about 262 ladies who came to New France and helped to populate the country. Now that averages out to about 10 women a year. Not too much to be able to produce a country. And so this is why, in essence, although these were remarkable women who came across, the sheer number of them was not enough to truly colonize a country. And this is why les filles du roi came into existence. But we are grateful for les filles mariées because they came first. And I've often said they are the founding grandmothers of Quebec. And les filles du roi, the founding mothers. So let's have a look at one of the founding grandmothers. So this week's episode, Les Filles Mariées, episode 46, is Marguerite Leclerc. And she comes to us through a viewer request. I do not have her in any of my files, so it was a pleasure to get to know Marguerite. Marguerite was born in 1649 in the parish of Saint-Remy in Dieppe in the region of Normandy. Her parents were Jean Leclerc and Perrette Brunel. The church where she probably would have been baptized was built after 1522, and it replaced a 13th century building. Dieppe is a city on the sea with its beginnings in 1030. It was a true jewel in the crown of both France and England, with its very strategic location. Many famous explorers and cartographers come from this area. It's renowned for its seafood, notably scallops. Throughout the Protestant wars of the Middle Ages, many Protestants, known as Huguenots, left from Dieppe to escape persecution and make new lives in the Americas. I love this picture on the bottom right, because this is to me what it would have looked like when, for example, Marguerite would have left her particular homeland. We know that Marguerite arrives in New France in 1661. Who is the groom that she selected, and who selected her? His name was Nicola Leblond, which translates to Nicola the Blonde. He was born in 1638 in a commune called Honfleur in France. His parents were Jacques Leblond and Françoise de Nolan. And he was born in the Normandy region of France in the district or the département of Calvados. And there's approximately 6,700 people that live there now. And the church where he would have been baptized comes from the 13th century. So that is the Église de Honfleur that is pictured down below. On October 13th, 1661, at Château Richer, Nicola Leblond and Marguerite Leclerc were married. So the family would settle at Ile d'Orléans, which is located in the St. Lawrence River, about 3 miles east of downtown Quebec City. The island was truly one of the first parts of the province to be colonized by the French, and a very large percentage of French Canadians can trace their ancestry to the early residents of this island. As many of you who have been with me on so many of these videos knows how often we come back to this spectacular island. And I was there this summer for the very, very first time. And I can tell you it truly is breathtaking in terms of how you can feel it when you're driving. You can absolutely feel the history of the place. So please pay yourself a treat one of these days and go to Ile d'Orléans. And one of the things I realized was I always would talk about the 6 different sectors of the island, but you really feel it as you're driving through. And you start off at Saint-Pétronille, and then you go Saint-Pierre, Saint-Famille, Saint-François, Saint-Jean, and Saint-Laurent. Each of them have their own individual kind of churches and histories. So it's important to know where your ancestors settled. Now we have the 1666 census with Nicola and Marguerite, 29 and 25. They have their first girl, Catherine, and their second girl, Marie Magdalene. She's later known as Marie Madeleine. And then another census was taken in 1667. We have Nicola, who has remained the same, Marguerite, who has lost a year, Catherine is now 3, Madeleine is now 2, and now they have a son named Nicola, who's 5 months. They have 4 beasts, like 4 cows, and they have 30 hectares. That's about 25 to 26 acres of land. Truly a remarkable feat. They would go on to have 10 children. Jean, their firstborn, would die in infancy, as would their second son, Jacques. Catherine would marry Jean Rioux and would become the seigneuress of Trois Pistoles. She would have 8 children, 3 of whom would make it to adulthood. Marie Madeleine would marry Nicolas Roy and have 6 children, all of whom would make it. Nicolas would marry Louise Boucher and have 5 children, 2 of whom would make it. Jean-Baptiste would pass away at 1 year of age. The second Jean-Baptiste would marry Thérèse Le Tourneau and have 5 children, 3 of whom would make it to adulthood. He then married Marguerite Amoury and would have 4 more children, 2 of whom would make it. Joseph married Catherine Drouet and had 2 children, but neither of them survived. Pierre married Pierre Martineau and had 15 children, but only 4 survived. Martin would marry Anne-Françoise Bissonnet and have 8 children, 6 of whom would make it. Nicolas would pass away at the age of 39 in September of 1677. I do not have any death record for him. For further information on Nicolas Leblond and obviously on Marguerite Leclerc, you can peruse edition 11, volume 11 of our French Canadian Ancestors. Sign up for our French Canadian Ancestries and on Facebook, and you'll be able to download that file. Or if you have that particular book, fascinating reading. So the second groom, Jean Rabouin, was born in 1637. Those of you who have listened to my previous episode will know that he was the star of that show as well for Marguerite Artouin. And so he's a widow. He's born in 1637 in La Rochelle. His parents were François Rabouin and Marguerite Chassé. And the chapel that he was baptized in was called Saint Nicolas, which is now simply a building that houses it. It's been deconsecrated. But this is a picture on the upper left, of the church as it appeared when he would have been baptized. Jean would arrive in New France sometime around 1656. He would marry Marguerite Ardion and have 8 children before her death in 1677. On September 8, 1678, Marguerite Leclerc married Jean Rabouin at the Sainte Famille Church on the island of Orleans. It's incredible. But Leblond had 7 children. Rabouin, Marguerite, brought with her 6, and they would then produce 3 more children. So it's yours, mine, and ours, 1670s style. Go on to have 3 children together. Marguerite would go on to marry Noël Roy and have 13 children, 11 of whom would make it to adulthood. Jean-Baptiste would pass away at 17. Jeanne would marry Etienne Corriveau and would have 8 children, all of whom would make it. In the 1681 census, we have Jean Rabouin with his new wife, Marguerite, and their children, kind of a mix of all yours, mine, and ours. We have Madeleine, Marie, Martin, and Anne. Marguerite is their actual firstborn child together. They have 1 gun, 5 goats, and 5 arpents, about 3 to 4 acres of land. Marguerite's life would come to an end on January 24, 1705, at the age of 64. She and Jean would have been married 27 years. This is her death record, and this is also a picture of the Saint-Denis cemetery where she is buried. Jean would go on to remarry in 1706 to a lady named Marie Minot, with whom he did not have any children, but he would pass away a year later. In 1707, he is buried at the Saint-Jean cemetery on the islands. Here are some of my favorite resources for exploring French-Canadian roots. I want to talk to you about a website called the French-Canadian Genealogist. Absolutely love what this lady is doing. She is thorough in her research and offers all kinds of services, as well as lots and lots of information. Please check out her website. It really is one of the best I've seen. All the other areas as well have addresses in the notes, so if you want to explore other sources, please do. And so ends episode 46. Marguerite Leclerc really did have an astonishing life, having so many children and also being a stepmom to so many children. I just, when I talked about the founding grandmothers, that's kind of the image I have of her. Just a remarkable lady. You can feel the strength. She would have 161 descendants as of 1729. Truly a remarkable woman whose fortitude, her strength, her perseverance, her ability to keep on keeping on truly is an inspiration to us all. So thank you, Marguerite, for coming to our shores and making such a difference. And I also want to say thank you to all my patrons, supporters, and subscribers. Thank you for all your best wishes and your, obviously, financial support. Any and all feedback is appreciated. Appreciate even the more negative ones, because then I get to grow and become better. And that's how I'm going to get better. So I really appreciate all the help you have given me along the way. So with that being said, I will see you on episode 47 of Les Filles Mariées. Until then, au revoir.